Let me get set up here. Let me know as you're coming in that you hear me loud and clear. And please don't forget to like the videos on your way in. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. The videos on your way in. And if you haven't already, um, yes, sir. What's up? What's up, man? How you doing? Uh, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. I'm gonna let a couple people join the live stream, and we're gonna get this video right here popping. Thank you for joining us here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and we have a lot to talk about. We're gonna get into the sport of boxing. We're gonna cover some Naoya Inoue. He returns back to the ring. What they're saying about this opponent and why TJ Doheny. There have been a lot of things going about Shakur Stevenson, but most importantly, I wanted to also touch upon some of the former champions that had a lot to say about Naoya Inoue, such as Roy Jones Jr. So we're gonna break down all of that and more. So we're gonna get right into this episode. All right. Well, first of all, Naoya Inoue, um, coming into this matchup against TJ Doheny. I just got off from witnessing his press conference. It just kicked off out there in Tokyo. It will not be in the Tokyo Dome, the fight. So it's going to be in a familiar place where Naoya Inoue has fought before out there. So let's break down this fight, how we got there, what they're saying about this opponent, what Naoya Inoue feels like he should do um, is his next move. So when we're talking about a fighter such as Naoya Inoue, he has a current record of 27 fights by 24 big ways by knockout. He's undefeated. He's 5'5". He's a Japanese fighter, and he was born in Zama, Japan. Okay. When you're breaking down a fighter such as Naoya Inoue, you have to you know, take his weight, the 122-pound weight division. And there was a former world champion, Roy Jones Jr., that was recently just on an interview, and he spoke about who he felt was the best fighter in the world. Okay. Now, he said that Terrence Crawford has had that dancing partner that catapulted him to the number one status because Crawford also has not relinquished the torch, being the fact that Crawford made it there first. He was the first man to secure all four belts in two separate weight divisions. Now, his dancing partner that catapulted him over the top was Errol Spence Jr., which came into that fight with three belts and undisputed world champion, also undefeated. So, Naoya Inoue is what a lot of boxing, you know, former champions and a lot of men that know a lot about boxing, the one thing they say is that Naoya Inoue has not just yet. It seems like they don't want to give him credit for all the killers he already went through. I don't understand why, but you know, um, once he beat Stephen Kubo Fulton, then Stephen Kubo Fulton wasn't that guy. Going into the fight, Stephen Kubo Fulton was the one that was going to beat the monster and expose him for the fighter that he wasn't. So just like this happens to all the greats, it's always someone next. And we get to this situation where we're at with TJ Doheny, right? And Naoya Inoue at the press conference, he addressed it. He came out and he said, I was offered this fight coming off my last win, right? And the reason why he was offered this fight is because Sam Goodman is showing that, or at least they're telling him, he doesn't really want this fight. And there's a big smoke screen with Sam Goodman because he gets in the ring, challenges Naoya Inoue when they were alerting him that TJ Doheny was going to be the next fight right soon after that. So the thing is this, that a lot of boxing YouTube channels, a lot of guys that have big voices in boxing, it seems to me they're trying to feed it to you as Naoya Inoue has earned the right to fight a tomato can. That Naoya Inoue has went on a tear and that he deserves an easy fight. And that's just not the truth. That's not so. Naoya Inoue doesn't take any easy fight. First of all, what happened is that he wants to stay active. He had a date for September and he needed a fight. When when Goodman and Akmadalia MJ went to battle for who was going to win out in the fight, Sam Goodman was the one that won. Once he got the approval of the fight, then all of a sudden he gets a change of heart and wants a tune up fight, which threw a monkey wrench in the equation. Probably MJ thought, well, the next guy is going to get the fight is Sam Goodman. I'm going to go on vacation and plan out my next fight. Then all of a sudden, Sam Goodman doesn't want the fight. MJ's out on vacation somewhere. He's not going to be ready. Their promotional companies start to clash and enters TJ Doheny. The only reason why he got this fight is because Naoya Inoue needs somebody to beat up. It didn't matter what name came across the table. He's going to beat all of them up. Just wait. You'll get your turn to get knocked out. Don't worry. He'll be right there. As far as Naoya Inoue, what he stated in his press conference was he gave himself 2 years to get his body acclimated where that he feels comfortable to move up. That 2 year mark, he reached it, right? And it was a total of him going up, from the moment he started working out. Now, not from the moment he entered the ring with Stephen Kubo Fulton was that 2 year decision. No, that 2 year decision was made once he vacated the belts at 118. 30 days after he acquired all four belts, he made the decision to move up. And at that point, he said he gave himself 2 years to move up to the next weight division. But he also acknowledges that he knows his body and that he wants to do it right. He doesn't want to rush it and make it easy for anybody else just because he wants to please the masses. You know what I'm saying? So he also addressed that he ain't going nowhere. He's staying at 122. So he's going to end out the rest of the year and probably start the following 2025 in 122 pounds, more than likely. He's looking to clean out the division. He says he's having way too much fun. It's different now. He understands the severity of everything, having the four belts, defending them multiple times, doing what no man in his boxing history has never done. How many times has a man successfully defended undisputed status? To be undisputed at the time, whether it was a three belt era or a four belt era, who did it the best? Having all the gold. You see? So he's having a lot of fun. He's gonna really, like, when he feels ready to make the jump, he's saying he'll make the jump. What's up? 6 to 5 more SB fights. Naoya already said he will do 2 years at super bantamweight for the fight. Yo, what's up, Carlos? Did you hear about Naoya staying at 122 2 years? Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. And then when you go to watch these post conference, I had to watch it like 3 or 4 times, right? Because even when you press the translation, it still doesn't translate, Japanese the correct way. It's kind of like Puerto Rican, right? When we translate things in English, it's backwards. In a lot of situations, what we're saying is the object first and then putting the action behind it in Spanish. And it makes sense. It makes, like, when we speak it, it makes perfect sense in our head. But when you say it in English, it doesn't come out quite well. So when I'm reading this, like, I'm thinking that too, right? And I'm trying to read it and I'm saying to myself, okay, he might be meaning this might be saying this, like that. I'm not sure he's saying 2 years from this moment. I don't think it's like 2 years from this moment. No, that would be ridiculous. He'd be 33. He's 31 years old right now. He's not a spring chicken. That'd be a lot of time in the 122-pound weight division, considering that he's already going on 4 fights. I believe he's saying 5 to 6 fight, including these four. So it's about 2 more fights, somewhere around there. And the 2 years started from the moment he entered the 122 pounds. And he started training to fight in the 122-pound weight division. His first fighter was Stephen Kubo Fulton. Now think about the 4 months of training he did leading into the fight. See, then the fight, then the 6 months training leading into the Marlon Tapales fight, then the 6 more months leading in, you see? And that was, I guess, the 2 year span. You see? And then now, you know, um, with these things, he said that he doesn't feel like his body has fully, he hasn't grown into it. Like all men, we all age and develop differently. You ever have that one kid, he goes off on a summer vacation, comes back, and he has a beard. You're like 13 years old and shit. And then all of a sudden, he got like a beard. And like one summer, man, he just blossoms, and you're still stuck at the same place. Like, how the hell did he grow a beard? Like, you know what I mean? We don't all, develop the same way. Some much slower than others, some quicker, right? So at 31 years old, he still feels like his body still needs to, can unravel a little bit more. And I talked about this. Has he maxed out? Has Naoya Inoue maxed out? And just to see like fight fans to say, yo, let's see if he could do it. I don't really think he should risk something like that. For a man, a fighter, a man that's his ego is like there. Like, I'm pretty sure Naoya Inoue understands and knows who he is in this world. He's considered one of the toughest men on the planet, on the fucking planet, right? So, like, you see him when they talk to him in interviews, right? You can see his expression. And what you get from Naoya Inoue is people put on every day. The image or mask, they call it, right? Of someone keeping his calm, cool. He's answering questions. That's what you see. That's what he shows you. Very humble, very direct, talks, answers, bows his head, right? But if you do something to that man and you make that kind of man snap, you'll see that monster come out. He'll change like this, quick. you know, and it's hard to read him. It's hard to read him with that subtle look on his face, you know, and you're like, this guy right here is, when you try to like show him to a friend of yours, and you show him, and he's standing there with his little silver, blonde tips, his little suit on, and you're like, who the fuck is this? Some Japanese model or something? Is he a singer? Is you know what I mean? If they didn't know who he was, and you just showed a picture of him without boxing gloves, just in a regular suit, to someone, I don't think they would think too much of him. But appearances and judging a book by its cover will deceive you. I have done that in my life. I have fell victim to that. I have seen things in my life and judged it before I got to know it. I have seen things in my life and took one look at it and made a decision based on what I saw. And boy, was I wrong. That is almost, if not right on point, with what Naoya Inoue actually is. Under that subtle smirk and those just big brown eyes and that little fucking, them little silver tips, inside of all that is a fucking killer. And this man is doing things in the sport of boxing where he is truly transcending the sport of boxing. He's really showing sending a message to our guys. You know, when we look back at the record books, when it's all said and done, and his career is finally tallied up, you'll see. The world will see what this man has accomplished and how hard it's going to be for another Naoya Inoue to come along. How quickly even his countrymen in Japan, by only winning one world title, is quickly put up and elevated right next to him with doing very little work. The great ones, they always come at them like that. In order to put their guy in the room with a great one, you would have to lower the bar because you can't quite do it like him, could you? LeBron and James, Michael Jordan debate. They had to bring in a scoring title just to try. How far did they lower that bar? A corona epidemic ring, they want to count that too? How far did they stoop to try to get him in that conversation? It didn't work because most of us know championships straight up. Less complicated. All we know is two three-peats. 3-3. Do that, we're talking. Now, Inoue, two divisions, all four belts, 8 belts. Do that, then we're talking. Then on top of all his, accomplishments, he goes on and he's starting to build slowly, silently, because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are acknowledging this until it blows up in their face, until they step back and go, oh shit, that's what he's been doing the whole time. Greatness. And what I mean by that is him defending these belts. With each fight that he goes, Luis Pantera Nares defended all four belts. TJ Doheny, he's about to defend all four belts. Okay. And then I heard Naoya Inoue talking about the possibility of him facing Akmadalia, and that he hopes that Akmadalia wins the argument for the next fight. Because now, you see, and when we think of all these things, you can't blame this or put this on the shoulders of Naoya Inoue when there's politics and business involved, TV networks, things like that. There is a business side to every sport, but more so in boxing when you're dealing with their managers on a fight to fight basis. You see? It's not like the NFL. You signed the contract. I'll see you next year, or whenever the contract finishes. You already signed the contract. You don't deal with them. But in boxing, it's fight by fight. So it's always another side. Someone's always trying to line up their pockets a little more, asking for a little bit too much. And sometimes fights don't get made. That happens every day in the sport of boxing, every single day. For them to turn around and try to sell it to you, oh, Naoya Inoue deserves to take a lackluster fight and TJ Doheny because hasn't he fought? No, 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 no. He doesn't. He's not asking for any handouts. He's not asking for any favors. He's just asking for someone to get in the fucking ring. Someone that is of a significance. And the only person that said yes is him. He said, "You got the fight." He's not asking you, woe me. Don't I need a break? I just went down in my last fight. That maybe it's because he got knocked down in his last fight that they want to take it easy, that they want to take a step back. When have you ever seen Naoya Inoue face adversity and say, I want to take a step back? He only got knocked down in that fight. Nonito Donaire fractured his orbital bone, which later in life that could fuck up his vision. He had a way worse injury and came out in his next fight, kept going. So, where is it that these guys can make up these stories or these narratives to give Naoya Inoue excuses? He didn't ask for you to give him an excuse. He doesn't want any excuse. He didn't want any easy fights. He doesn't want any of that. The problem is no one's there to fight him. Akmadalia would not be ready for September. And Sam Goodman, the man that everybody thought that jumped in the ring, right? You see how one man bluff can fuck up real dude shit? Naoya Inoue is doing legacy championship stuff. And here comes this guy, right? He's the number one rank. You gotta respect it, right? And he did this. He not pulled out and took a lackluster tune-up fight that didn't make any sense, then break his hand, and he would have just went in right away to fight Naoya Inoue. In September, we would be seeing Naoya Inoue versus Sam Goodman, and then the next fight would have been MJ, as planned. But because of these shenanigans of Goodman, Naoya Inoue has to suffer, and his name has to suffer because of this opponent, because the original opponent chickened the fuck out. That's what's up. Yo, bro, can I get some likes up in here? Let's smash them like buttons. Yeah, of course, he's number two, right? And that's what I mean. You got to be someone of significance, meaning you got to be ranked in the top five. I believe he would have took anybody ranked in the top five under any boxing organization. You know what I'm saying? So meaning like the WBC, number one to top five, if anybody was available to make the September date, he'd have took those guys. And likewise, IBF, WBA, and the WBO. He would have took anybody. So TJ Doheny in one organization is ranked number two. And another one he's ranked number five. And another one he's not even ranked. And in the other one, I think he's ranked number four. Right? So, and he's a former world champion, and he's coming off wins. No losses. He's coming off wins. He's not fighting a guy that's coming off a loss. So, and he's fought in Japan before. You see? So, as for Japan sales, it makes dollars and cents. He was the better pick amongst all the other guys that wouldn't have probably had bigger names, wouldn't have been a former world champion. They would have been defeated. There was no fighter up there that, had Doheny was the best pick from the men that raised their hand. There was probably a few others, but their ranking probably wasn't up there. And this is all caused by Goodman. Because had shit went the way it was supposed to, the fucking guy jumped in the ring for God's sakes and was like, hey, vacate those belts or fight me. And goes and fights somebody else. So that messed up Naoya Inoue's plans. They had to regroup. They had to find him an opponent because Naoya Inoue is going to fight in September. He's telling his promotional company, I don't care who you get me, I'm fighting in September because this is what I had planned. He has a vision. He ain't putting his career on hold. So when we talk about guys, right, that say, get me anybody, I don't care. Then they get the guy that raises his hand. Then these guys come out right away and say, huh, look who he picked. That's a tomato can. Oh my God, no, yeah, in a way. They say he's the best fighter in the world, but look who he's fighting. But you're not saying the truth. And you're not breaking down why we are here. How did we get here? Sam Goodman. He went in there bluffing, bro. And he fucked up everybody's plans. And they had to and get him an opponent. Because we're here because of that. And after all of this, mark my words, guys. Mark my words. He's going to say that his hand was significantly broken and he will not be able to make that November, December date for Naoya Inoue because Naoya Inoue is going to fight late December, just like he fought the previous year and the previous year after that. Okay? If you haven't noticed, Naoya Inoue's all his fights are roughly around the same months in time every year. So it's the train, I'm telling you, it just keeps going. So then you got these guys, right? I remember there was a time in a combat sport where we commended the guy for literally saying, "Find me anyone." That goes to show you how tough that guy is. In the UFC, when a fight was canceled and the guy got on the mic and he said, I didn't care who the opponent was. I looked at Dana White and I said, find me anyone. And then the crowd, they found somebody. It didn't matter, right? He goes out there, poo, poo, poo. Yo, find me anyone, Naoya Inoue said. Find me anyone. Here we are, TJ Doheny. But yet now, in actuality, what's going on here? TJ Doheny saved the September card. And I want to thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for having a set of balls that some of these guys that want to act like they got it, that act like they want the smoke, but they really don't want it. Thank you, TJ Doheny, at 37 years old and a former world champion, for stepping up and giving us a fight. Thank you. All right? Because when all these other guys want to coward behind their managers and a mic and say, oh no, I want to fight him. He's right there. He's right there. His schedule opened right up, and not one of you had anything to say. That was fucking remarkable. When I saw all of this unfold right before my eyes, it was simple math. Oh shit, Sam Goodman ducked Naoya Inoue. That's exactly what he did, right? And then Naoya Inoue scheduled, open right up. I was like, holy shit, Stephen Kubo Fulton can legitimately come back and ask to fight him again. Yo, and I'll be up for that. Where was Steven? Crickets. Yo, no one's phone. No one answered the call. Naoya Inoue's manager was like, yo, did you pay the phone bill? No one's picking up. Yo, I'm trying to tell you. But thank you, Sam Goodman. TJ Doheny. Thank you, TJ Doheny, for stepping up, saving the September date, and at least giving him a type of opponent that's going to go in there and fight him. Now, many of us think the outcome of the fight is the same. I think 99.9 of us is thinking now, yeah, Inoue's probably gonna knock him out. But that doesn't fucking matter. That doesn't fucking matter. According to TJ Doheny, you know what? This is his moment. This is his night. All the odds are stacked against you. Talk about an underdog story. TJ Doheny is behind the eight ball right now. And the only person in the world that believes he got a shot at this is him. And he's in there. He better be in that gym giving it everything he got. Because on that night, win, lose, or draw, there's nothing better that you can hang your hat on and say, at least I was in the best I could be. I'm going to go in there. Listen, you guys done gave me an opportunity to win 4 belts, change my stars, and stamp my name into the Hall of Fame. Before this fight, TJ Doheny was not going to the Hall of Fame. If he's able to pull this kind of upset out, guess where he's going? Guess where his name will live among fighters? But Naoya Inoue fight is a lottery fight. He's giving and putting on the line so much, but yet they want to give him so little respect. How many men have gotten 4 belts and just offered it to anybody else? Come fight me. Saul Canelo Alvarez, shit. He fights everybody else except in his weight division because of fear of losing those 4 belts. He protects that. He feels that he's given so much blood to the sport that he deserves to take these kind of fights. He may be right, but that's another story. Naoya Inoue, listen, he's starting to defend his belts. He's not fighting these catchweight fights. He's not fighting guys moving up lower in another weight division. He's staying the course. Don't worry. All this debate that you guys have about whether or not he's going to fight Agmadalia, according to Naoya Inoue, he just ruined all these guys' plans. They were going to try to wait him out to see if he would move up to 126. Now they just got the news that if you want to be a world champion right now, all roads lead to Naoya Inoue. That's the only way you're gonna get a belt in his weight division, because there's only one king, and his name's the Monster for a reason. There's only one king, and Agmadali is gonna get his shot. He's probably gonna be next. It's either out of him or Sam Goodman. It's either out of those two guys, and it's gonna the WBA is gonna have an interesting case to present. Because what happens, I think that the WBA now is technically, what I mean, number one now. Because they don't give a fuck if Sam Goodman wanted to take a tune-up fight. They're saying basically, you gave up, but it was 2 belts, and that's where I'm not familiar with. Because if the IBF was first, who was after them? Was it the WBO like that? Because yeah, full rank, yes, right. So it could go bing bing and they're fucked. Yeah, the WBA screwed then. I gotta look that up to see where it falls. But I know that Naoya Inoue did not know the answer to that. He was just like, look, I'll fight both of them. Whichever one of them wins, so he was up to fight both of them. So we're gonna get these fights. We're gonna get these fights. And then I believe roughly around his 5th, 6th fight at 122, which is 2 more fights away, which could be the last 2 fights, which could be Sam Goodman and MJ. He closes out the 122 pounds weight division and successfully runs the table. If he closes out whichever order it comes in, whether it's Akmedalia or Goodman at the end, he ran the table at 122, meaning he got all the belt, he beat all the top guys, he beat the who's who, he ran the table. Yeah, it would definitely be. Like, see, because Naoya Inoue got a lot of criticism at 115, where he didn't fight all the champions at 115. He only had one belt. You see, he defended it a shitload amount of times. He defended it like 7 times, but he didn't fight or clean that division. So they were like, "Oh man, Batman, all these other dudes, they was just talking shit, right?" But Naoya Inoue proved, had they fought, look how powerful he is. Look where he is in weight right now compared to those guys, and look what he has accomplished since then. He's even gotten better, stronger, faster. With every fight, he understands more about fighting, boxing, the sweet science. Yeah. So if you think like just because he didn't wipe those guys, listen, he's not a robot. I would love there to be a guy that just, on some real video game shit, every division wipes out everybody, and who the fuck has a time to do that and that can consistently do that as a human? That's just impossible. And that's where fans nitpick to try to get at him. But the truth is, he's very dominant. He is the best fighter we have today. Roy Jones Jr. said internationally, Naoya Inoue is the best fighter we have, pound for pound. But in America, he has to give it to Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford is just he had bigger names that we're aware of. His opponents' names were more household names than Naoya Inoue's opponent. For example, Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr., once I say the name, you're gonna know it, right? If I was turn around and say Marlon Tapales to you, you'd be like, who? Like, you know what I'm saying? And hardcore boxing fans know Donito Donaire. But Donito Donaire, the Flash, is not a household name in America like that. Once upon a time though, he was like 15 years ago. Donito Donaire, he was on a pound for pound list, man. Donito Donaire, and I think he was ranked number one at one time in the world on some people's pound for pound list, and ESPN might have had him up there. I think maybe he got to two. I can't remember right now if he ever hit that plateau of number one, but it's something in my head is telling me that he did at one point. The Flash hit pound for pound number one. Yeah, so yeah, and he's a Hall of Famer. These are the kind of guys that Naoya Inoue is fighting. Hall of Famers. Not all his fighters are Hall of Famers, but most of them 13 world champions. That's impressive. That's very impressive. This title streak that he has of 21 consecutive fights, world title fights in a row, one after another, after another, after another. It's ridiculous. Mayweather has, I believe Mayweather has 26 world title fights in a row. Mayweather fought since from the moment Mayweather, no, not in a row. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He doesn't have them in a row. What messes up Mayweather's thing is that he has tune-up fights. Yeah, when I'm thinking of a regular boxer, in a row would be taking away the tune-up fights. But ever since Naoya Inoue came along, we gotta pay attention to that shit now. Now it fucking counts. He's just doing it too perfect. And Floyd Mayweather, though, once he got ready to fight a championship fight, like it might have not been a row, but he had either defended for his belt, fought you for a belt, unified a belt, or whatever. I think he has 26 world title fights like that. Like, you know what I mean? So not only I know he still has a lot of work in front of him, but his body of work right now, as it stands for dominance as a champion, there's not too many men that can touch him. His record is not solidified yet, so you can't technically count it. Yeah, that's why I can't. While he's an active fighter, I can't use his record against a legend. You can't do that. You would like to do that. It would seem like, why can't we do that? Right? The problem is that he's not done fighting. We don't know. I talked about this. If he retires well, if he starts fighting in his 40s and 50s and getting knocked out the ring and shit, all that shit counts. It counted for Manny Pacquiao. It counted for Ali. It counted for Roy Jones, Bernal Harpington, and the list goes on. And they ruined their careers for Mike Tyson. All those fights afterwards, those fights count on your record. And if you don't know how to hang it up well, guess what? That affected your Hall of Fame credentials. Yes, it does, because those losses count. So while you have a man that's active, you don't know, there's no end. How are you going to compare his record to a man that's already got an end? His record is solidified. That's a done deal. He's fighting exhibition fights. If he goes out tomorrow and gets knocked out, that doesn't count. It's a done deal. That's why he's the GOAT. We can count his record. Naoya Inoue, it's until the day he retires. But once that day finally happens, yo, if he stays the course and he doesn't fight all those fucking gimme fights at the end that count and loses horribly and shit, and he's ends it with like on the way that he is right now, it's gonna fucking crush all these dudes' records. That's all I got to say, bro. These guys ain't doing half the shit this guy's doing in the amount of time he's did it. It's just he's truly special. I've never witnessed anything like it in boxing. And I've had the privilege of watching some of boxing's greatest fighters. And with the technology today with YouTube and shit, if I wasn't born during that time, guess what? Saw it. I got to see it. It's right there. Bingo. Right? Um, I might not have that generation connection to the fighter where that like Muhammad Ali was is revered and I respect him as the greatest heavyweight, greatest fighter. That wasn't my time, right? So he's not my favorite and the best heavyweight in my head. In my head, in my generation, in my time, the best heavyweight champion in the world, Mike Tyson. That is because I was connected to him. I by the time I was watching Mike Tyson, I knew what a fight was. I've been in a few myself. I might have not understand everything about boxing, but I knew what Mike Tyson was doing, and he was in my era, my generation. So I guess I'm more attached to that fighter because of that. You see, so um when it comes to like watching the best to do it, you watch your Sugar Ray Leonard, your Marvelous Hagglers, there's just so many Felix Trinidad, Hector Camacho, Roberto Duran, those kind of guys, and you watch them go down through the course and their styles and what they did throughout their careers, that you will understand what this Japanese guy is doing. I mentioned a whole bunch of legends' names, and not one of them has even come close to the type of stuff and accomplishments that Naoya Inoue has accomplished already. If Naoya Inoue was to walk away from the sport today, if he was to call it quits right now, he beats all of them out just with what he could accomplish today up to present day. If he walks away tomorrow from the sports and announces that he's done, he's the best to ever do it. Right there. That's all he has to do. I mean, he's going on, he's daring to be great. He's putting it on the line each time he goes out there. I don't think you guys truly understand the nerves and the kind of pressure at times he could be under. You know, you don't, when you're fighting and you're early in your career and you're dominant and you're rising, you probably didn't have a lot of time to stop and think. You just kept going with the flow, kept going. Now you're here and you realize, oh shit, it's like that team that was undefeated and they got to the final championship game. And they're like, oh shit, I'm Patriots. You know, they had that undefeated 18-0 season and lost to the Giants. It fucking happens, man. Pressure busts pipes, and you realize that you're on top of that cliff, and you do the one thing you weren't supposed to do: look down. And you're like, "Oh shit, huh, I'm up here." That can be a lot. That can be a lot to handle. As you can see, it's getting to him slightly. When he got dropped against Luis Pantera Nari, that nervous laugh that he had in the gym of being embarrassed in front of all his fans. Even though he won the fight, he took comfort in the fact that he won the fight. But inside, there was a piece of him that sees that people could make memes and say things about that and take that and say, you know, that bothered him. That bothered him. So with all this pressure and with every fight, he puts so much on the line. Every time he enters that ring, you know, he's also giving the other guy an opportunity to really get a free ride into the Hall of Fame. He didn't have to collect all four belts. He didn't have to move up all the weight divisions. He didn't have to fight all the top guys. But yet, here he is across the ring from me, about to compete for the very thing I built. You didn't build any of this. But yet, you have an opportunity to play spoiler and take it all away from me in one night. And yet, with each fight, he goes out there again and puts it all on the line. And they don't seem to acknowledge him. They don't even seem to acknowledge the fact that although there's a big portion of fight fans that believe that Terrence Crawford is the best pound for pound fighter in the world, right? And he deserves that title. He never defended all four belts, not even once. None of those four belts and none of the divisions. He didn't defend all four belts. And they're not even acknowledging Naoya Inoue defending them. They don't want to. Had that been Terrence Crawford defending all four belts already twice, what do you think they would have said about that? You know, look, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to fight or debate because I love Terrence Crawford just as equal as I love Naoya Inoue. But what's right is right. And what a man does should not be determined by his weight or size. It should be determined by his skills and how he's dispatching his opponents at the level of how hard he has to do this. And you have to admit that with each fight he goes out there, he's giving a big opportunity to these guys. And he's taking a lot of risk with each fight. So, you know, and therefore, to solidify what I'm kind of trying to say too, right? There is an argument in boxing right now, right? With Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez's argument is he beat Josh Taylor that had all four belts. And no one beat Josh Taylor that had all four belts. And entering his fight, he was stripped of three of them. So he only fought Teo for the WBO. But according to Teo, he's an undisputed champion and he should be recognized as one because Josh Taylor, once upon a time, had all four belts and technically never lost them in a ring. that a man would be that delusional to argue that point so passionately because that title under your name, that's the biggest honor and the biggest achievement in the sport, to have all four, to be undisputed in your weight division, any weight division. Yeah, that's how valuable that name, just that name is. And what the men would do to lie, to fight for your respect and your approval, to give him that. Like if we write what in the Hall of Fame's gonna accept, Hall of Fame ain't gonna accept that shit. Tio, you didn't do it at 135 and you didn't do it at 130 and you didn't do it at 140, no, 135 and 140. 135, 140, yeah, because he fought Josh Taylor at 140. Right. He didn't do it anywhere. Tio is trying to go down right now, and he's arguing this, that he was the first man to be a two division, four belt holder. He's trying to say that he had all four belts against Vasily High Tech Lomachenko when he beat him, which in fact he only won three belts that night. But in his delusional mind, he thinks he won all four. And then when he fought Josh Taylor for one belt, he feels that Josh Taylor was stripped for the other three, but technically going into his fight, he should have had all four. So that should approve him for being having all four. And he had the audacity leading into his fight to say that him and Mike Tyson were the youngest undisputed champions in boxing history. That him and Mike Tyson, boy, he had to attach his name to a real one. He's such a sucker for that. What's up, Road Rage? How you doing, baby? Armando. What's up, fam? How y'all doing, James? How you guys chat doing out there? Yeah, he's holding up the division too. What's up, everyone? Chat family. Tim Zoo. Oh yeah? They're gonna announce the Tim Zoo fight 40 minutes from now, his opponent, because his injury still hasn't they took him off the Saudi card because of that. Which in fact they were talking about Errol Spence Jr. today with Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora is still suspended until September 27th. So he's still suspended until then. And it was reported that Errol Spence Jr. was nursing an injury, but boxing isn't rushing him along. You know, they're giving him like the benefit of the doubts, and I think he's still going to go into that negotiation, and that they're looking to shoot a date for him and Sebastian Fundora to fight for the WBC 154-pound title, ever since Sebastian Fundora was stripped of the WBO, which I think was unjustified and unfair. His Tim Zoo's mandatories and obligations should have not fallen on the newly acquired champion. They shouldn't have did that to Sebastian Fundora, if you ask me. And that fight with Terrence Crawford should not be for two belts. It should be for one belt right now. And there's a lot of people that are also in Terrence Crawford's corner. Boxing is not just one entity. It's thousands of entities doing crazy shit for their one guy. It's all these boxing promoters and managers, and you think about the corruption, and no, it's only one guy getting show fate. You can only do it for one, and their other guy they might not show so much favoritism for. So when they speak about these issues in boxing, just know it's individuals. That's it. So they end up stripping Sebastian. Now Terrence Crawford, Ismail will fight on August 3rd for the two belts. And that August 3rd fight is good. I just saw an interview with Andy the Destroyer Ruiz, and he's getting ready for his fight against Gerald Miller, Big Baby. They're actually friends away from the sport of boxing, but Andy the Destroyer Ruiz said when he gets into that ring, he's gonna pop that switch, and you know we can be friends later. On that type shit. There'll be another Japanese fighter defending his belt on the Naoya Inoue card too, as well, out of the 10. Yeah, James. TJ took the lottery fight. That's good for him. Yo, thank you, showing for the love on the channel. Uh, this is where y'all hear that out there. Thank you for the support. Where the all fights start? Round one. That's right. What's up, blood? Yeah, Junto is not gonna move up that fast to fight Naoya anyway, but I believe at some point they're gonna meet. I think that Junto Nakatoni right now will fight the other Inoue, right? Naoya Inoue's kid brother. Um, at one point they're going to meet. But Naoya Inoue has a lot of options right now. The problem is he just doesn't have a lot of fighters. He has a lot of options, just doesn't have the fighters to, that he needs. Those bigger names, because he has an option to come to America. He has an option to fight in Saudi. He has an option to fight in Japan. He has money options. Yes, he does. He just doesn't have those guys. Not just yet. MJ, for as much as his name has been flowing around in boxing circles, does his name hold that same weight in boxing ticket sales? And depending what that answer is, it will determine where that fight will ultimately play out at. But I can tell you one thing for sure. Naoya Inoue is not going to Australia to fight Sam Goodman, and you can get that out of your fucking mind. Sam Goodman and his team are fucking crazy or delusional if they think that that was going to happen. They even had some streaming channels reporting that and telling it to the world that Naoya Inoue was going to go to Australia and fight Sam Goodman in his backyard. Fucking ridiculous. He doesn't have the star power to fill up an arena for himself, but he's gonna drag Naoya in a way, a mega Japanese star. Get the fuck out, man. What's up, Lionheart? How you doing? Bam Bam Rodriguez is possibly that guy. I like Bam Bam Rodriguez in so many different ways. I think he's really smart for a young man. He's young, okay? Bam Rodriguez can move up. Here's the problem. Before I can put say Bam Bam Rodriguez into the equation, right? To fight Naoya Inoue, right? He's got to prove to me that he can get there. He's got to go through some of these other weight divisions that Naoya Inoue has fought them guys and at least beat one or two of them on the way up. I'll even accept one. If he goes, let's say, I don't know, and he fights, I don't know, let's see, Emmanuel Rodriguez lost his last fight. Maloney lost his belt, so let's go. He could fight MJ. He could fight fucking Marlon Tapales. He could fight Stephen Kubo Fulton. He could fight. I mean, and some of the new guys. Yeah, I would accept that. But Bam, I would prefer to see Bam Rodriguez handle those guys first. If he can handle those guys first, then I will feel that he'll be better prepared, depending how he looks against those guys. Because you guys know what's gonna happen. You know exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna end up moving up, and if they gave him the fight right away and Naoya in a way beat him, they're just gonna say he was too small and that they rushed him along. That's what they're gonna say. He's not gonna get the credit for it. So I would rather Bam build himself up to that kind of fight in a dominant way. Let's say Bam Rodriguez is moving up the weight division, right? And he happens to fight freaking Stephen Kubo Fulton or Marlon Tapales, and he knocks out Marlon Tapales faster than Naoya Inoue. Now we got something. Now we got something. We see Bam Rodriguez go up in there against Luis Pantera Nari and knock out Luis Pantera Nari in the first round or some shit like that. Now we're talking. He's going through the guys that Naoya Inoue beat, but beating them faster. Now we got a storyline. Now we got ourselves a fight. Now we shouldn't have any excuses until after the fight because you know they're going to come. But the one thing you're not going to say is that he was a small guy because he just beat these guys that Naoya beat, but better. And that's when you can build that kind of fight for Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez. But I would like for him to make his way to him rather than just be handed the fight. You guys understand?
Another one.
Just dropping them for you guys, just dropping it. All right, let me scroll down and get catch up to you guys. Pro Rage, my man, thank you. If Naoya had to skip featherweight, he would be three division undisputed. Mm. You mean if he didn't skip like the 112, like from 108, he jumped up to 115. If he wouldn't have skipped in there, yeah, he definitely would have been. Oh, the merch shop. Uh, that's gonna. I'm tackling that project on this week. Yeah, I'm gonna be up ready to go. To tell you the truth, that heater, the press, that shit is so damn hot, and I'm in this room up on in my house, right? It's a one, well, it's a one family house now, like right, but I got upstairs, I got a downstairs, right? So I'm like in one of my rooms upstairs. I made it for like my studio and shit. It get hot as hell in here. And I turn that on or any of these lights, bro, it's like 200 degrees up here. I almost passed out. I was like, slow down, baby. I was like, why don't we let this like marinate and we'll start banging out these shirts. I might have to like transfer to another room. It just got crazy. I'm trying to tell you. I was like sweating like, yo, but yeah, definitely. Um, those are other skills I'm trying to perfect. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for being a supporter and members. My members, guys, listen, I know who you are, and I definitely I'm I'm definitely gonna get back to you guys, and I thank you for all your love and support. As my channel grows, I'm strong in one areas and weaker than others, but definitely 100%. Um, I'm 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 gonna get there. I'm gonna get there, and we're gonna get this shit clicking. You know, I just gotta make the right decisions as I move along. That's all. I'm talking to some people and stuff, and it's just making the right decisions and not selling your soul. I kind of feel like that, You know, Sam Goodman wants to go to Japan. He also outclassed Naoya's next opponent, TJ Dillashaw, James. That was several years ago, and he didn't outclass TJ Doheny when you go 12 rounds with him. That's a decision. That's called a decision. Outclassing him, in you can get a unanimous decision, right? And it had to be like a serious one-sided fight. I saw that fight. Doheny won several rounds. In fact, it was close going into the scorecards. So it wasn't really an outclassed type fight, and that will say a lot to Sam Goodman right after the Naoya Inoue fight. You hold your comment, James, for after the fight and tell me how Naoya Inoue did against TJ Doheny versus Sam Goodman. We'll see. We will see. You know what I mean? Listen, Naoya Inoue, this doesn't matter. This is all really like smoke and mirrors, to tell you the truth. Because neither TJ Doheny nor Sam Goodman is going to do absolutely nothing to Naoya Inoue. So if I was just for a minute just being brutally honest, I'm just being brutally honest. I don't see it. I don't think so. I don't think Sam Goodman even gives Naoya Inoue a better fight than Marlon Tapales. Mm-mm. I think Marlon Tapales gave Naoya Inoue a better fight than Stephen Kubo Fulton did. Stephen Kubo Fulton got shut down. What do you think's gonna happen to Sam Goodman? That's a boxer. He's not a wild, unorthodox kind of guy. He fights the way it's supposed to go. That's right up Naoya Inoue's alley. Naoya Inoue is gonna hurt Sam Goodman, bro. If I'm being brutally honest. But the competitor in me and the reporter in me needs to give Sam Goodman some credit. He's a good boxer, and I will acknowledge that. You know, um, so far so good, I guess, for Sam Goodman. He doesn't look bad in the ring. His movement is pretty good. I think his movement, he moves and throws punches. He's the type of fighter that you would think understood a lot about boxing, that you would think that his ring IQ is really high, Sam Goodman, for his technique. You would be fooled by that. He doesn't know that much about boxing the way most people think he does. Sam Goodman is like that basketball player that looks like Michael Jordan, but doesn't score like him. He doesn't understand the game like Michael, but he could jump like Mike. He's just not a winner like Mike. You understand what I'm saying? Sam Goodman is good when it comes to technique. The way he throws his punches, he looks good as a boxer. It's straight. His form is good. His angles are pretty good. His footwork is pretty good. But like I said, that's where it ends. He doesn't understand fighting at a level like Naoya Inoue does. He's like that guy that you're playing dominoes with that just following suit. He knows how to play the game. He doesn't really, Sam Goodman is good. He understands like setting shots up, basic boxing shit. Like, when to try to hurt a guy, shuffle in, he's got good form. He looks good. He looks good. But I can see something he doesn't have. And he doesn't have that intelligence of a fighter. It's not really high. Nah, he's just doing boxing shit. Trust me, if you don't understand what I'm saying, man, I don't know how to explain it, but trust me when I tell you it's there. Yeah, he's not as good as people would like you to think he is anyway, Sam Goodman. He's good. He's all right. He's just not there. No, and I know why. Um, he needs to train in like the art of the movement of the body. It will help him with that. Once he starts to understand like there's only certain so many ways you can move. And there's so many angles and the way the dance goes, just like if you're dancing salsa or any dance, there's certain steps to that dance. Um, like when the 49ers head coach was winning all those games with Joe Montana, they were so far ahead of the rest of the NFL that they were killing their defense with their West Coast offense. Like it was all about timing. Joe Montana takes 5 steps back and he would count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. That guy, by timing of his speed, he should be there and the ball should be hitting him here. It was just all timing. It was an understanding of how the game was played. And that man understood it. Naoya Inoue is not in there bluffing. I want you to know this. Naoya Inoue in there, every punch, everything you're doing, he's taking down information, data. And I want you to understand that all boxers do not do this. Not all boxers have this capability. Not all boxers understand this. No, this can take a lifetime to understand, or it can take a week. No one knows when the fighter understands that kind of level of fighting. No one. It's like your eyes get opened up to, and I don't know how to explain it anymore. I truly thought I knew how to fight when I was younger. Even in my 20s, I thought I did know how to fight. I thought that fighting was based on certain things, and you had to do a certain way. And, you know, I thought that I knew what fighting was all about until my eyes were open to fighting. When I saw how simple, elegant, but complex fighting can be, it was it was like my eyes just I from that moment on I saw it different. I saw it different. I understood things different. um I understand wasted movement, what they were talking about when they said wasted movement. I understand that when you see fighters that were a lot faster or they were doing all this and you see them on their next fight and they're mostly standing there. I also understand what that can confuse a fighter. When a fighter starts to learn more about their craft, they can lose themselves in that moment. Now they're like, and then you see them going, I need to go right back to that guy I once was when they lose, right? Uh, because understanding it, knowing it and understanding it are two different things. Naoya Inoue is truly throwing punches for a reason. He wants a reaction for you, and he wants to create situations to lead you to a certain punch. There are a lot of punches in his fight. You can tell the one that he wants to land is, when he'll throw it in the first, and if he doesn't catch you, throughout the course of the events, he'll throw that same punch or combination. And that's when I see like that's going to be the finishing punch. That's the one he wants. He wants that one right there. He'll take it any way he wants, but if he had it his way, that's the one he's looking for. So when you understand these things, fighting becomes a bit easier. You know how to be calm in pressure situations. You won't panic. Um, you'll wait for your opportunities if you have to. You'll learn how to weather a storm. You'll know how not to count yourself out in a fight, even when things are going bad, because you understand that you still have two hands and you're not knocked out. So you're still in this fight. You understand that sometimes when you can recognize that he's faster than you or stronger than you, and you really need to rely on other skills to bring you to a certain point in the fight where it's your time. Now you step on the gas. You see, not to give up on yourself in the first rounds when you're getting wiped down. You know, you seen those guys that they're resilient, like those Mexican fighters where they're all busted the fuck up and they came back. You know, Espinoza against Robesi. When Espinoza um, fought Robesi and Robesi dropped him, I was like, this fight's over. Yo, Robesi got him up. There it is. And bro, Espinoza didn't he weather that storm? And that's when you see fighting in a different light. And you know that um there's men out here that confuse that with like will. You can have all the will in the world to do something. You can will yourself to get back up off that ground, but you might not have the skills to win. And you got to recognize when you don't have that, and that's a fighter. Fighting is has to do so much up here. I try to tell like young guys coming up in fighting that once you can calm this right here, fighting will start to lay down for you. You know, you'll learn how to control your emotions and your anger, but not to trick yourself to fall asleep and not be reactive. There's fighters that think by what I'm saying, they get it confused with being calm. And they're calm, and the guy blitzes them and beats the shit out of them. And they're like, man, I did what you said. I didn't say motherfucker be calm. No, you got to be alert. You got to be on point. But you got to understand what's going on. Some guys mistake what I'm saying for, they think just, oh, relax, be calm. Nah, respect that dude in front of you and take him down. That's it. But just don't waste time. Don't waste time. Don't think for him. Don't make him a bigger or tougher guy in your head. Like, shit, if I hit him, he's going to get mad. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do any thinking for him. No. See your opportunities, your openings, and take them. And move fast and strong. And don't hesitate. Hesitate, you will donate. You're gonna be laying on the ground if you hesitated. You're gonna be walking home like this, going, damn, I should have hit him. That's what's gonna happen. Don't second guess yourself and always believe in your punch. Believe in it. Fuck it. If you're gonna get your ass whooped, fuck it. Be like, yo, take this with you and just give them everything you got. Follow through. Don't go backwards. Don't panic. Don't panic. Maybe you might have to get dragged around for a little while. Just wait for your opportunity. You might be getting pulled by your hair on the ground. Don't panic. Don't panic. Just your opportunity is gonna come. They're gonna they're gonna get all an adrenaline dump. It's gonna just they're gonna I won. No, you didn't. Fight just started. Yeah, and that's how it is in fighting and boxing right now. Look, um, it's evolving. These fighters are coming out a lot more polished than I used to remember they were. Um, the Mason family. They got five brothers. All of them are boxer. Abdullah Mason is right now currently leading the way. It's just a matter of time, in my opinion, before he gets a shot at a world title. Um, you know, as well as Shakur Stevenson and Zapata being ordered by the WBC. Shakur Stevenson and Zapata are supposed to reach negotiation before it goes to a purse bid by August 20th. August 20th. So Shakur Stevenson and Cepeda got until then. I don't really think Cepeda wanted this fight. I don't think he actually ever wanted this fight. But here we are. I think that Cepeda now feels more confident when they've been seeing Shakur Stevenson go through what he's been going through his last two fights. Edwin De Los Santos pulling up in North New Jersey, talking about he's in Shakur Stevenson's hood that he pulled up on the streets. Like they're taking it from the ring to the streets now. Um, so like Shakur Stevenson has a lot of people coming at him. They're starting to see a chink in the armor, and they're just saying it's just a matter of time before somebody gives him that fight in forward pressure and he loses. Yeah. So yeah, Bam Rodriguez is gonna destroy Chocolito, bro. Destroy him. He's gonna send him back to retirement, bro. That's all. That's all that's gonna happen there. He's gonna destroy him. Yeah, that'll probably happen by the time that Bam Rodriguez moves up to 122. Naoya Inoue will probably be at 126 by then, huh? He probably would be. It all depends on Naoya Inoue how he feels about his body. Despite what he says to the media, since he doesn't seem to change his mind about it, he could wake up one day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, definitely, brother. Definitely. Boxers say the darnest things, and then tomorrow they'll just change their mind. You know how boxers are, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are divas, real divas, bro. You know, Ryan Garcia's, the Devin Haney's, the T.O.'s, the Lomachenkos, real diva motherfucking boxers, you know. Hey, listen, let's accept this fight with Naoya Inoue and TJ Doheny for what it is. It's another ring appearance for Naoya Inoue, and that makes me very happy. Whenever Naoya Inoue enters the ring, I tune in. So whoever you can get to get in that ring from here on in, I'm gonna tune in. And I understand and I see what's going on. I see that some fighters, some boxing promoters, some managers are trying to wait them out. Some want the fight, they just weren't ready for the fight. They weren't gonna be ready. And Naoya Inoue wasn't gonna wait on his date. He wasn't gonna push back his September date because if he pushed back the September date, that's gonna fuck with the December date, and that fucks up his schedule. So they were probably fighters that did want this fight. They just weren't gonna be ready. That's all. The guy that was ready, that saved the fucking day, TJ Doheny. Thank you very much, TJ Doheny. This is for you. Thank you for saving the day. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna take the fight for what it is. You know, it's another showing of Naoya Inoue. I can't wait to see him again back in action in the ring. Um, and I can't wait to get that oh wow moment in boxing. I watch boxing for those particular moments. Those moments that bring you out of your chair. Those moments that bring you that excitement, that fire, that fighter that feels that in your body of excitement that you can cheer for your favorite fighter. I like when this man fights. He brings so much to the sport of boxing. And with each fight, he's just setting the bar that much higher. To all those men that are coming up right now, that want to be world champions, your Camille Motons, your Masons, your Keyshawn Davises, your Xander Zions. You want to be a world champion? That's what a real world champion looks like. One of the best world champions. You can be any regular world champion, and that'll be fine with me. If it's fine with you. But if you want to chase legacy, this is what you're gonna have to do. There's no shortcuts and no easy way to pull off what he did. You're gonna have to do it exactly the way he did it. In whatever weight division you want to do it, just do it. And to all the men out there that think, oh, the reason why he did it is because he's in a lower weight division. What unfair advantages did he have? Wasn't he there the same size too? Wasn't that his exact weight division? And wasn't the men in there competing in that weight division with him? So when they say, oh, he did it at a lower weight division, what does that got to do with anything? Like I said, if any bantamweight could have done what Naoya Inoue has done to present day, why hasn't no bantamweight in boxing history ever done what he's done? Not just one. There's never, not no American, nor Japan, nor any other nation has done what Naoya Inoue has done to present day today as a bantamweight. There has never been a better bantamweight champion than him. But yet they're gonna have to try to address it and paint it for you and say because of the fact that he's in the bantamweight division, that it's not that impressive. Bullshit. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Whatever weight division you're in, I believe we all on the same playing field. Game on. It's what you do in your weight division that counts. And no matter if it's 122, 108, or the heavyweight, what you did in your weight division, you should be given credit for. Fight fans, let me answer the rest of your questions here real quick. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. Um I really hope that I clear up some of these things. And for those fight fans that are tuning in, I encourage you, if you don't know much about Naoya Inoue, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I just want you to go give the man his credit and give him an eye test. Just check him out. Just check him out and get back to me. Tell me what you think. So, fight fans, please give this video a like. It's been an amazing show. I always like chopping it up with you guys. And I come on just to bring you another one. So, I'm gonna wrap up this episode. If there's anything else or anybody got anything to say, you guys got any questions, drop them in the comments right now. Fight fans, if not, I'll be heading out. I will see you guys tomorrow and this Saturday. We'll be checking out some of the fights. We have some fights coming out on the 20th, right? This Saturday. So if you guys would like, tune in, join me. I encourage you. And as we go for the prestigious Notre Dame's trophy, which Ghost Rider uh, um, won, he edged me out in the 6th round knockout, right? But it went down in boxing record as a 5th round stoppage. So Ghost Rider is the honest winner. I mess around with you guys, but if you call it, you call it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I will win. I will win. So, fight fans, until the next one, I'm on to the next one. After this one, here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace. Another one.